Warning. You've reached On the Box with Ray Comfort and are now in a biblical truth zone. Place all questions about theology, current events, and evangelism on the box, where they'll be weighed against the truth of God's Word. Ready your hearts and minds. You're about to be inspired and equipped to fulfill the Great Commission. Programming to engage in 5, 4, 3,
Do the wave.
2, 1.
Welcome to another Get Out of Your Pew Friday, friends, where we challenge you to get out of your pew and do what God has called you to do. And Ray, you know, that's exactly what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to get out of my pew and do what God has called me to do, and that is to go, as God said to Peter, to rise, kill, and eat as I go dove hunting with my sons. Rise, kill, and eat, Ray.
Go and kill vultures, not little doves.
No, dove's delicious.
Oh, boy.
You don't think that's hypocritical, Mr. Chicken Eater? See, the difference between us is you hire hitmen to go kill your chicken for you.
Chickens are dumb. Doves are beautiful. Do you hear what they say to each other? Coo, coo. Yeah, they're just, they mate for life.
Have you ever eaten lamb, Ray?
I don't like lamb.
Have you ever eaten lamb?
Yeah, all the time.
Little woolly sheep, the cute little woolly sheep. Hypocrisy on display, friends.
That's true. It's
On
true.
the Box with Ray Comfort.
Pray for easy that no doves will.
No, please don't pray that. Ray prayed that last year, and I got one dove. I usually get a lot.
It didn't work.
Yeah. Anyhow, friends, it is very exciting, a wonderful thing. And Mark Spence is actually going to be doing something a little more spiritual. Tell us, Mark, what you're up to.
This weekend I'm going to be speaking at a church. If you're in the Wichita, Kansas area, I'm going to be speaking at the First Baptist Church of Clearwater. The website is fbcclearwater.org. I'll be speaking on Saturday night and Sunday morning. Also, I guess there's Sunday school hour. I'll be doing a Q&A from people from the congregation. So come with your questions about how I edited up EVG wrongly. I love to hear what you have to say.
Oh, you get some atheists show up if you build it
show
like
up,
that.
atheists. I hope atheists do show up. You are our friends
Yes.
as much as you think we're your enemies.
Mark, have you ever thought about releasing dove into the congregation?
Why would I do that? Maybe chickens.
I'll be there.
Did you see where Liberty University released an eagle in their auditorium?
No, I think that was Oral Roberts.
Yeah. That's right. No, Oral Roberts died years ago. It's the university that released it.
Right.
But didn't someone figure that there's a big window there?
I don't think they thought that through.
And when the eagle hit the window,
I think they usually release it in stadiums, so the Eagles used to go in, long distances and going in a circle.
Did they record it hitting the window?
Yes, it's online. It's
pretty,
very sad, actually.
Really sad.
Yeah.
But the guy seemed to weave it into his sermon after about how,
They mount up with wings as
sometimes we
eagles.
fall and God lifts us up. And yeah. Are eagles edible? No, sorry, that's wrong.
No.
Okay, friends, on to some exciting things. But before that, we have some guests in the studio audience. We have Frank, Sherry, Susan, and Catherine with us. And, of course, Summer and Julia, who also doubles my bodyguards. Oh, and Julia, I guess, doubles or triples also as my chauffeur. She's got her driving permit
That's
now.
your daughters. You did mention
my
that.
lovely daughters. It's nice having chauffeurs and bodyguards,
That's
right?
what kids are for.
Yeah.
And doing dishes.
Yeah, of course.
That's why we had them.
And cleaning dove. All right, here we go, friends. A question from Jim.
We didn't clap the audience guests.
Oh, yeah.
Have you with us.
Some of them from New York. Did you know that?
Oh, New
That's
York.
out of state, yeah.
That's
New York.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's
great
great.
to have you with us. All right, email from Jim. Love your show. I've been watching it daily for many months now, and I love it, including the warped humor. Ha ha. Just wondering how you guys view the 7 sins and how it fits with the 10 Commandments and all God's law in general. When looking at the 7 sins, it looks like the sin of pride is at the root cause of most other sins. Your thoughts? Well, thank you for...
Did you see he put pride in caps?
Oh, he did.
That's pride.
Yeah, he's pretty prideful. So I believe, obviously, Jim here is referring to what's listed in Proverbs 6:16 through 19. These 6 things the Lord hates. Yes, 7 are an abomination to him. A proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that are swift in running to evil, a false witness who speaks lies, and one who sows discord among brethren. And Jim is probing to see, is pride at the root of all of these sins?
Now, I'm not sure he's referring to those 7 sins, because there's something called the 7 deadly sins. I think it's the Roman Catholic Church have 7. You're Roman Catholic. Do they have what's called the 7 deadly sins?
You are Roman Catholic, or you were?
I am
straight.
Yeah, I used to be, was.
Was.
Was,
I
is,
am,
was.
but I am.
So, no,
So do you remember the 7 deadly sins?
No, I'm not.
There's malice and jealousy and stuff like that, I think.
Right.
Was there a movie called The 7 Deadly Sins?
I think there might have been, but I would assume he's referring to these.
Because he mentions pride?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Ray, what are your thoughts on pride?
I have no thoughts on it. I'm just
You've
too
had
humble.
no experience
No,
with it.
I
Yes,
just
I
wouldn't make
figured.
any. Yes, I have no experience of pride.
Tell people about your book
I
you
don't know
wrote.
what you mean. Oh, humility and how I attained it with full-color pictures as volume 1. I'll sign them for you if you write quickly.
Yes. So let's go to someone who has something to say. Mark Spence, tell us a little bit about pride.
Well, it's funny you say that.
Yes.
You know, I'm reading a phenomenal book right now with my boys by J.C. Ryle entitled Thoughts for Young Men. He died in 1900. I think it was exactly 1900 is the year that he died. But he wrote some, and he left some amazing material for the body of Christ to carry on the torch that he so valiantly carried while he was alive here. He said these words concerning pride. He said, pride comes from not knowing yourself and the world. The older you grow and the more you see, the less reason you will find for being proud. Ignorance and inexperience are the pedestal of pride. And once the pedestal is removed, pride will soon come down. In other words, the more you get to know yourself truly for who you really are, the more you're going to recognize you got nothing to be proud about.
Right.
Remember the Apostle Paul, the beginning stages of his ministry, he said that he wasn't worthy to be called an apostle. And at the very end of his ministry, he told Timothy that he was the chief of sinners. The more and more as he grew closer to the Lord, saw himself for who he was, he realized, well, you know what, it's not about me. It's about God. It's about him. Christianity's always been about him, so you can find yourself getting burnt out trying to do things for God, but truth be told, you shouldn't be doing anything. You should, other than abiding in the vine and allowing him to be who he is through you. And finally, a quote from John MacArthur, one of our favorite authors and pastors here. He said, some people get so caught up in their own holiness that they look at the Trinity for a possible vacancy. Ooh, you know, we go from a prodigal to prophet in less than 3 seconds. The moment we realize, hey, we are forgiven, we begin to get a big head. If our eyes are not upon the Lord where they need to be, well, then we will begin to think more highly of ourselves than we ought. Get a haughty spirit, and, well, pride goes before a fall. So we need to be careful. We need to be in check. And more as you are in the limelight, as people look to you, you will have that temptation to become proud. And I think of it was King David. He had Uriah killed, committed adultery with Bathsheba. But probably the greatest of the three was what? Numbering the people. Numbering the people. Well, what's so big about numbering the people? When you begin to see, look who's on my army, look who's on my team. Take a look at me. Look what's happening through me. And what happens? Well, there's a man whose eyes were on himself, and God was greatly displeased with him because of it. So we need to take our eyes off ourselves, put our eyes on the Lord where they need to belong, and we'll see God do what he needs to do and be who he's always wanted to be, God in the man. As Ian Thomas used to say, great man, Christ in you, the hope of glory.
You know, a guy made a Christian commitment years ago, and he said to me, I struggle with pride. And I was going to say, why? What on earth? What on earth have you got to be proud about? Seriously. Yeah. And it says, I think, in the Psalms, every man walks in a vain show. You know, we walk past a mirror, and we see Arnold Schwarzenegger in the mirror. We really do. Or I remember when I was about 13, Elvis Presley was big. Elvis Presley was a singer from the last century.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it. And
Elvis, right.
So I recorded myself singing into a tape recorder. I'll never do it again.
Were you inspired in the moment? Thinking,
I was thinking, yeah, I could be like Elvis. And it was awful.
I would have loved to have heard that.
Oh, no.
Trying to sound like Elvis as a Kiwi? You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
There's no audience laughter then. You should have used this. I was just shocked. And that's what humility is, seeing yourself in truth.
Right.
Pride just puffs up. I think that's why leaven and pride are together. Leaven puffs up. And that's what Jesus warned against. Because God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. And that's what you see often with atheists. They read the Bible and they read it blind because of pride.
Yeah.
They turn the light out and say, there's nothing in it. It's just a stupid book. Well, that's because you approached it with pride in your heart and God
Right.
resists you.
And I think that our friend Jim makes a real good point, because pride is a root that leads to all sorts of sins. You know, you think about marital problems as an example. Most marriages fall apart because there's pride. People aren't willing to humble themselves and confess their own weaknesses or shortcomings or apologize, you know, when they're wrong. And I've always really been sobered by this verse in James 4:6, but he gives more grace. Therefore, he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. You know, friends, I can't think of a worse thing in this world than to be resisted by God. I mean, seriously, that should strike a chord of serious sobriety in us, to think, God resisting us? I mean, that's horrifying. And Ray put it well. What do we have to be prideful of? You know, sometimes it's an issue of perspective. I can imagine that a little ant could feel quite proud of itself, you know, picking up a tiny little pebble. To it, that pebble's huge, and, you know, put that ant next to a cockroach. You know, put that cockroach next to a cat.
It's going to last a while, isn't it?
Put that cat next to a dog. Put the dog next to a horse. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, you keep going. But even man, seriously, standing at the base of a sequoia redwood tree.
Yes.
I mean, that should be enough to humble anyone.
Yeah.
And yet, you think about it. When have we ever flown over the planet in a plane 15,000 feet in the air, whatever, and look down and are able to identify individuals? I mean, we're microscopic on this planet.
Right.
And 1,300,000 planet Earths can fit into the sun. And then think of the universe. Just to get across the Milky Way, it would take you 100,000 years traveling at the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second. So to be proud is the most foolish thing in the world. You know, maybe, Mark, you could speak to this. I've always been amazed by people saying when they stand before God on that day, they're going to give him a piece of their mind. I mean, is that just like utter blindness?
They can't afford to. There's not enough mind to give them.
Oh, man. I mean,
You know,
seriously.
John Piper said that man has been designed within his DNA to be enthralled with splendor. And nobody goes to the precipice of the Grand Canyon or arrives at the base of Mount Rushmore and says, I feel huge,
Right.
as they look over this grandeur design. Nobody does that. But yet we've been designed within our DNA to stand enthralled with that which is bigger and greater than ourselves. We look at people like Kobe Bryant or King James with Miami Heat, right? Who is able to do amazing things with a basketball, or Brett Favre with a basketball, being able to throw it 70-plus yards. Not anymore, now that he's retired about Ray's age. But we look at these people, and we go, these are amazing people. And we stand enthralled, and so we should. But when it comes to God, you think of God, that we cannot begin to fully explain and to understand God. You know, I mean, I don't want to start. I know you could do so much better than I can on the craziness, on all the attributes that God actually consists of and possesses, and how his thoughts outnumber our thoughts, and that his thoughts for us outnumber that of the sea, and his eyes are in every place. I mean, it begins to boggle our mind when we begin to think of how great, how awesome God really is.
Right.
You know, I like Louis Giglio. He says, there's this word we have out there inside of our vocabulary. It's awesome. We say, hey, that burger was awesome. Hey, my child is awesome at playing baseball. But you know what I think we should do? We should grab hold of that word awesome. We should set it aside, put it on the shelf, and only use it when we describe God.
Right.
Because God alone truly is awesome. Awesome. We stand in awe of this one who is God. Wow, and so we should. So,
Amen.
Each of us should be all full.
Right. Full of
Awe.
Full of
You
awe.
know, the world affirms humility. They commend it. You think of Brian Regan's skit. Brian Regan's the clean comedian that we so love. He talks about the hero. Someone saves a child from drowning, and they interview him on television. They say, you're a hero. He says, no, I'm not a hero. Because he says, I'm not a hero in humility, everyone says, oh, you're a real hero because he said, I'm not a hero. Imagine if he said, yeah, I'm a hero. Yeah, give me a medal. No, he's going to say, you're not a hero.
Right.
So you've got to say, I'm not a hero to be a hero. So humility is affirmed by the world. We really don't like pride. I hate hearing anyone boast.
Yeah.
You know?
That's so true. I think the problem is that we forget as human beings that we are derived creatures. In other words, I think one of Satan's biggest ploys, because that was obviously his sin, the sin of pride, wanting, you know, take the place of God, is that, we're tempted to, or maybe subconsciously deceived into forgetting that we're created. We kind of think we're just here on our own, and we got all...
Larry,
right, the Larry story. But, Paul asks, what do you have that you did not receive? And if you did receive it, why do you boast as if though you didn't? And you'll often hear people boast and brag, or maybe debate the point of, God giving them what they want. It wasn't God who blessed me. It wasn't God. I did it with my own hands, my own mind, my own strength. Really? Where'd you get your hands from? Where'd you get your mind, your eyes, It's just such blindness.
Yeah, the next person that says to me, I'm God, I'm going to say, haven't you ever had a speck of dust in your eye?
Right.
Is there an eyelash in your eye? I can't see.
Right. And we've talked about it on the show often. Man can't even control his own hiccups. I love seeing people brag and boast about their might, and I'd love to see a hiccup attack up upon them.
Yeah.
I do what I want. I can my body.
How long is this going to go for?
For hours, hours and hours on end. But it's amazing, and I've often talked about how when we look at the untouchables or the perceived immortals of our day, how all of them demonstrate their frailty. You think of Muhammad Ali.
I was going to do that little thing.
Yeah, bouncing around the ring, firing off all his fast one-liners. I'm a bad man. I'm the king of the world. And we blink, and there he was. I remember not too long ago on a stage with his hands shaking from the advanced stages of Parkinson's disease, his fast-firing one-liners reduced to 2 or 3 spoken word sentences. And it was like, wow, there's Muhammad Ali, who was seen as one of the most powerful men on earth. You think of Superman, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. We turned our heads for a second, looked back, and there he was, Christopher Reeves, quadriplegic. He exchanged his cape for a wheelchair, his mighty wind-gushing lungs for a ventilator, his robust and bulletproof body for one that no longer worked. And, that's the way of the world. You think of 9/11. How many of those people were sitting in their offices, maybe, boasting about their exploits in life and the things they were going to do, and in a split second, without warning, they were transported from time into eternity. I remember standing there at the base of the Twin Towers as I took a team to New York just a few days after 9/11, and people were standing there staring up into the sky as smoke was still rising from the ashes of the tower, shaking their heads in disbelief that thousands of people were going about their day like normal, and in a split second, without warning, they were transferred from time into eternity.
Yeah.
So, friends, pride is foolish, and hear what God says on it. Proverbs 8:13. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, and perverse speech. Proverbs 11:2. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 29:23. A man's pride brings him low, but a man of lowly spirit gains honor. So this is God's estimation of, the importance of humility and the folly of pride.
Thing that I hadn't experienced at the age of 20 that brought me to a point of humility before I even became a Christian.
Only 5 years ago? Yeah.
No, thank you. You made up for Mark Spence. All right, I had a hernia operation and I couldn't cough, laugh, or sneeze.
Yeah.
And my wife used to have to wash me down. It was just, I was brought, at the age of 20, I was brought to nothing.
Wow.
Just helpless like a little old man.
Yeah.
Spence? Yeah, so there you are.
Wake up call, friends.
Well, let me ask you guys a question then, dealing with pride here. Somebody who recognizes there's pride inside their life, they don't want it to be there, and they've come to grips with that God resists the proud. So what's the next step? What do they do? Where do they go from there once they look into the mirror and they go, man, I really shouldn't have anything to be too proud about, like Ray says here, but where do I go? How do I stop being so proud in my day-to-day livings, or when somebody comes up and says something that enamors me and lifts me up? How do I stop being like that?
Fast. Because that's what it says in Psalms. I humbled my soul with fasting.
Right.
Nothing reduces me to quivering jelly like missing food. Seriously, I'm just a slave of food. I'm depressed. I can't handle. I'm weak. When I think of fasting, I go weak. I can't get out of bed.
Fasting.
Yeah, eat fast food.
Right.
I feel weak. Yeah. So humble my soul with fasting. If you think you're terrific, just leave a few meals out of your plan, and you'll just be crying out to God. I'm just
Mark, I penned something years ago that I found helpful in my own life, and it goes like this: when you want God to give you more of Him and less of you, ask Him to give Him more of Him and less of you, which will make you want more of Him. No, I'm
I was going to say, do one of your
See,
poems.
that was very humbling. Thank you, Lord. See, God knew I was going to boast about this wonderful
that
thing I
really is
wrote.
funny.
Okay, I
Couldn't
got it now.
remember what it was.
That was good. See,
Part
a
two. Take
living,
two.
You better fast.
Take
a
two.
living illustration. And now I got this, which humbles me even more. Here we go.
Are you
All
gonna
right.
try again?
I'm going to try again.
Okay. Hand over to Mark Spence.
Okay, when I ask God to give me more of him and less of me, he shows me more of, forget it.
Me
I'm
and
going
less-
to try this. How did I forget this?
Go.
Okay, we're going to go to a video now.
Wait,
friends.
real quick. Let me say a quote by Carl Henry. As I read this, maybe it'll come back to you there.
Thank
Carl
you, Mark.
Henry said, "How can anyone be arrogant when he stands beside the cross?" Over to
Right.
you, Easy.
Okay, I think I got it now.
All right.
No.
If I botch it now, let the
but
trap door loose beneath
That's
me.
let's just go straight to a video
Okay,
of you
no,
botch
here it is. Okay. When I ask God to give me more of him and less of me, he shows me more of me,
And
which makes me want less of me and more of him. That's what it
pure-
is.
yeah. Audience.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's how we are, aren't we?
Oh dear.
We
dear.
forget that we blew it. But no, really, I mean, if you really want to be humbled, ask the Lord to expose the sinfulness of your heart to you. Because when you see who you are in true light, and then you see God in his holiness and in his purity and in his righteousness, then you recognize you have nothing to boast in.
And remember, when God said to Jeremiah, "Go and boldly speak my word to them," and he says, "Speak my word. If you don't go, I'm going to confound you before them.
Oh, boy.
I'll humble you before them."
Right.
And that certainly is a way to get humbled.
Yeah, for sure. When you see your sinfulness and you see the holiness of God, it'll make you want nothing to do with you, and you'll want more of him, which is good. Okay, after that, do we have the video ready?
Please.
Before I humble myself even more.
Hi, my name's Cameron. Just wanted to play you guys the song. Thanks to you guys at Living Waters for putting out the video Evolution versus God. I was inspired by it, so I wanted to play you guys the song I wrote. It's called Our Creator. Who created the heavens and the earth? Who created the seas and all that dwell therein? Who created the angels who bow at your feet? Only you, only you. Who created the land and all that crawls along? Who created the sky and all that fly above? Who created the sun and the moon and stars? Only you, only you. There is only one. There is only one. There is only you. You alone created. You alone have the power to make everything with a spoken word. You alone created. You alone have the power to make everything with a spoken word. Our Creator. Who created man from the dust? Who created woman from the rib of man? Who created laws so we might live by them? Only you, only you.
Wow. That was really good.
You remember that?
I do. That's a great song. I listened to it when it was sent in, and
Yes.
thank you so much for sending that in, and for taking the time to
Yeah.
write a song like that.
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
encouraging to see what the Lord has been doing through Evolution versus God. I think we're at 570,000 views now.
Yes, it's very
Really?
encouraging.
And, you know, I was recently at an event where there were about 40,000 people in the stadium. And seriously, I looked around and I was overwhelmed with the sheer number of people. And you take that and you multiply that out and you think 570,000 people. I mean, 180 has 4.2 million views almost.
Isn't that wonderful?
And it's very encouraging to think of how many people and the people that they know and that they've impacted. And so keep spreading the word, friends, evolutionversusgod.com, and spread it. Daniel, how many
Click on. Sorry, Daniel.
sorry, Ray.
Oh, sorry, Easy.
Sorry,
guys.
Mark.
Everyone
sorry,
sorry?
Daniel. Sorry.
Yes.
We're being humble today, friend.
Hey, on YouTube, the likes and the dislikes have been going nose and nose, neck and
Right.
neck. All the atheists are saying we dislike it, and the Christians say we like it, and it's going like that.
And I think the atheists are saying there's a conspiracy for why the likes are
because
going
we
up.
jumped to 140 above them. It was just funny.
It's just really, it is hilarious.
Good. And then with YouTube,
Daniel, how many DVDs are we at now? A lot. Okay.
it's 100.
Daniel was just humbled.
I think it's 132,000.
132,000.
That's just to one lady who's trying
Trying
to reach
her
her
husband. Have you ever said that before, Ray? I don't think so. All right, Mark Spence, can you please take us to the tool of the
Oh,
day?
Yeah, you know, the tool of the day is a really cool little coin. It's a little goldine coin. It's in a little plastic shell. It's got a really neat perceived value. These are great things to hand out when you're done witnessing to someone, or as a graduation gift, Father's Day gift, birthday, something along that lines, because when I'm done witnessing to someone, I want to leave an impression with them. I want to leave them with, just something that they're not going to so quickly get rid of. And these coins are amazing. They do that very thing. I'm not sure how much we sell them for. I think they're $199. They're $5. They're $5, but it's a really neat perceived value. As you can see, the coin inside of it, people put it inside their pockets as good luck charms, thus breaking the second commandment. So you can tell them not to do that. But, you know, they're really great. I like to hand them out to people whose eyes have been enlightened to the truth, as you and mine have been.
And we're very excited because, as we've been telling you, the comfort zone is finally going to be here. How long has it been? Like 10 years we've been announcing the comfort zone?
Yeah.
September 16th, friends, will be the debut. The last program of On the Box with Ray Comfort will be on next Wednesday, I think. So, and then we'll have a little buffer in between.
A buffet?
A buffet,
Buffet.
yeah.
Whoa.
Buffet
I
your
buffet my
body,
body.
like Paul said. And then we'll be back for the Comfort Zone with Ray Comfort. We have a lot of exciting new features, although it will be boring,
It's
pathetic, and horrible,
it's
and
not
ridiculous.
it's not even as good as the bad.
You won't want to watch it.
On the
I mean,
Box.
if you think Mark Spence was bad on the Box, wait till you see the Comfort
And
Zone.
not only that comfort zone, Easy doesn't even remember as much as he does now.
Who am I? Where am I? So, friends, make sure to check it out. And check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. That's how you can connect with us and know what's going on. So you can do that. And check us out on onthebox.us and all kinds of things, too.
You got 7 seconds
Stuff
to fill.
like that.
Share a
5,
poem.
4, 3. Roses are red. Some things rhyme. Other things don't. God bless you. See you soon.
For questions about On the Box with Ray Comfort or to submit questions for future shows, please email onthebox@livingwaters.com. That's onthebox@livingwaters.com. On the Box with Ray Comfort is an outreach of Living Waters. For more resources to inspire and equip you to fulfill the Great Commission, check out livingwaters.com or call toll-free 1-800-437-1893. Now go and preach the gospel.